Alright guys, so today I'm going to be talking about something that is very trivial, sort of, something that doesn't really have like, it's not, it looks like it's not so important, but it's something that can save you from a lot of haggle. So I had this guy that had built like a whole lot of projects on his n8n local environment. He had done all of those things, and then all of a sudden, for one reason or the other, I think he lost his local environment, and all his projects went away with that. Now, I don't want that to happen to you. That's why in the next one or two classes, I'm going to be talking about how things you can do to avoid this kind of situation. So number one, today what we'll be talking about is how you can import and export a project. Now you need to know something. When you open a project in n8n on your local environment and you click on save, it is being saved, yeah, but it's being saved on your local environment. You understand? And if something happens to that local environment, there's a very real tendency for you to lose your work. There's a very real tendency. So even after you've clicked save and it looks like it has been saved, you still need to take extra steps. You understand? Now, what I'm going to do today is show you how to. So this is a file that I've created. This is a workflow that I've created. What this workflow does is to go through all my is to go through all my workflows in my environment and then back them up to GitHub, right? If you're a dev person, you know that we like GitHub a lot. GitHub is where we keep our projects and all of that. Okay, so that's what this project does, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here. You can see there are three dots here. You just click on the three dots and then click on download. Now, the moment you click on download, it's going to take everything, all the nodes in this workflow, and it's going to download it as a JSON file. Now, a JSON file is a local file that you can use to import a workflow into your own personal environment. So when you have a JSON file, if I create this project, for instance, and I give you the JSON file, wherever you are, you can import the JSON file and it will just set up like this. You don't have to go through the hurdles of making all the respective nodes that make up that workflow. I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying, but what I'm just trying to tell you is that there is a way to download this and give it to someone, and that person would import it into their own environment, and they have the same nodes, the same codes, the same everything. All they have to do, now let me quickly say this, all they have to do on their own end is to set up the credentials, those logins that, for instance, on this node, this is the GitHub node, right? I have set up my own login, my own way of logging into my GitHub account. So you see the credential here is GitHub account, right? Now all the person has to do is to do all this credential setup. That's all they have to do. They have all the nodes, they have all the codes, they have everything that it takes to recreate that project in their own end. Now this is for people who do not want to go through all the hurdles of creating the respective nodes. I know that this is a learning experience, and in the next class and the next classes to come, in fact, I've taken the last 1 week to sit down with this and create a curriculum that is going to blow your mind and be very effective to you making money using n8n automations and AI automations and all of those things. But sometimes you don't want to create the respective nodes that end up in the workflow that I'm teaching you. Sometimes there are people who don't want to create all the nodes. They just want to have the final thing on their system. Now, this is going to be very important to them, right? Because I'm going to also make the JSON file, maybe for a token or something, but I'm going to also make the JSON file available so you can import it on your own end and it will recreate everything I have created as though you were on my system. All you have to do is now enter the credentials that are going to make it run. All right, so we have this now, and I've already downloaded this. Now I'm going to go back and create a new workflow. Now I just want to show you how that you can just import a JSON that was downloaded, and it will replicate all of the nodes that were created in the original file. All right. So instead of clicking add first, that we would have done, we'll just come here to import from file. All right. Now, when you click on import from file, you can click on the specific JSON file, and then you have something like this. So you can see that in just how many seconds I had everything here. Now I'm going to try to run this and to show you that it runs. Now it's going to run because all of the credentials that exist in the original file also exist. All of the credentials that exist in the original workspace also exist in this workspace. It's the same workspace, right, that I'm using. So I don't need to create the credentials. I don't need to do any of those things. I just recreated it and it will work. On your end, you would need to create the credentials. Make sure you take note of that. You would need to create the credentials. All right. So I'm just going to now this workflow is designed to run periodically. Like it runs, I think, every 8 hours or something. As far as this my environment is on, it's going to run on its own every 8 hours. So I'm just going to execute it right now so that it runs, and then I'm going to show you the end product of this running. Okay, so but let me try to go into all of the intricacies of this. Now there's this schedule trigger which makes it run periodically, which makes it run every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes. That's what the schedule trigger does. It makes your workflow run in intervals. All right. Now, there's the next node, which is get all workflow. This one is just to get all the workflow that are in this my account. All right. Now, it splits them into items here, and then it does some code preparation here. Now, if this workflow exists on my GitHub, it's going to take a different course of action. It's just going to update the existing one, right? If it doesn't exist, it's going to create a new GitHub. So you can see it has finished running, right? This wait, I always advocate that you use wait if you are running something like this, right? So it doesn't do too much in a short time, so you don't get banned or something, and then it prepares the summary and then sends the summary to my Gmail, right? That's what this entire workflow does. Now let's go to my Gmail so that you see that. Let me refresh this. All right, I don't even need to refresh. All right, so you see n8n workflows backed up successfully. So you see that has happened on my Gmail. Now if I go to my GitHub, let me see. Let me refresh this. This is my GitHub, and I'm on the n8n workflow backup repo, right? Now, if we wait a little bit, you can see that in the past 1 or 2 minutes, yeah, 1 minute ago, it's updated all of this workflow. Now, so this one worked, right? And I'm just trying to show you, in this video, I'm just trying to show you that it is possible for you to download your a particular workflow as a JSON file and then import it somewhere else, or give it to someone else. These things can be transported from one system to the other, from one person to the other using JSON files. All right, that's the point in this video, and it is very important. When you do something that works, when you do something that you value, that you spend your time, you need to find a way to backup. Backup is very important. Now, in the next video, I'm going to be talking about how to create this, so that your backups will be sent to your emails, and then will also be backed up on GitHub. Right? That's what we'll talk about in the next video. All right. I hope you guys got value out of this. I'll see you in the next class.